Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Learn to Unlearn. I can't believe I'm saying this again. Like I said last time, it's great to be able to say it again and to actually hear myself say it. Welcome to the unlearning of history, as it were. Um, Today on the program, first a general description of a very important piece of history, a huge piece of the puzzle of our dis-ease. I like using the word disease, and it's D-I-S star ease. It's dis-ease of our poisoning as a people here in the USA, Inc. I'll get back to that on another show. Uh, it's called the Rockefeller virus. I'm calling it the Rockefeller virus. I just coined that. One that would change the face of modern medicine as we know it, readying us for long-term sicknesses and shortened lifespan. It's an important segment in order to understand the immensity of the problems that we're facing. It's crazy. So little by little, this is what we're going to do. So we're going to start with talking about the Rockefellers for a bit.
Yeah, I just want to throw this out that a lot of my healing has to do with sitting down and relaxing and not moving. Um, and I had to, what's the word? I had to find the discipline to be able to sit down for a long period of time. Hours at a time, days at a time, weeks at a time, getting up when you absolutely have to. I mean, to get a coffee, or to go to the bathroom or something. So as I was sitting here, I did a lot of research. I was able to do a lot of stuff. So for this episode, I really wanted to talk about the Rockefellers. And there's one video people absolutely have to see. A lot of people are saying now that in this age of information and technology, not knowing about something is like it doesn't work anymore. It's not an excuse anymore. So if you really, really want to know about something, you're going to get off your butt and research it, right? So our job is to be able to give it to you. And here's a link that we're showing right now on this video. The Rockefellers, the FDA, and the cancer industry. On YouTube, there's the link. You can even pause the video, or what I do is I screenshot, uh, shift print screen on any computer. And there's something that I'd like to read from Natural News that I find really interesting, and I'm going to show this as well. It was an article that I came across, and I thought it was really interesting in my case because the best way and the fastest way for me would be ideal in order to teach everybody or educate everybody on my ordeal. Quote, chemical warfare on humanity was launched nearly a century ago by the American Medical Association when they eliminated nutrition classes from medical colleges and approval stamped any chemical medication that came down the pike as a drug of choice for whatever ailment any doctors choose to manage for their patients for life. Then came processed foods, vaccines, chemotherapy, and GMOs to fuel the fire of preventable disease epidemics in America. Okay, and in the same article, quote, over 1 million people die from chemotherapy every year, but over 750,000 pass away from cancer. What's wrong with this picture? Okay, and this is what developed into this series that I'm going to do, and it's going to be a little bit at a time every week. Some of it's going to be on uh, my updates and how I'm doing, and some of it's going to be on history, and some of it's going to be on what's coming up. Because once you see what happened, you can see pretty well what's coming down the pike, as they said so well. So this is one of those times when I really wanted to do parts of my show, and I wanted to sit down in my lazy boy. So it should be interesting because sometimes you might see me here, and I'm just lining up the things that are important from my show and what people want to see. And I keep saying, and I'm going to keep saying it, what would I want to see if I was watching this show? What would I want to see? What would I want to hear people talk about? So, yeah.
Well, here's one thing that's important for this show. How about the fact that we live in this society that's programmed this way? People are fed by the food industry, which pays no attention to health. And we're treated by the health industry, which pays no attention to food. And there's a very good reason for that. Today on this show, I'd like to do a flyover of the following. Okay, I wrote down 3 important points: priorities, intent, intention, and motivation, motive. Why are so many people so sad? We're living in a fake environment with fake food, fake news, and fake people, and it's slowly poisoning our souls. Let's give an example of that. Okay, like the elders, older people. What do? First thing we do, throw them into old folks' homes, and what are they called? Nursing homes, you know? Whereas before, as this picture hints at us, they were the center of knowledge for the tribe. The elders, everyone wanted to go to them for help, for assistance, for wisdom. And the settlers knew this. So now they're attempting to destroy this link between the natural world and us and natural healing. Everything's backwards. Everything is on its head. You hear that in movies today. Graham Greene in the movie Clear Cut, that's what he says. Everything is broken. Everything is busted. And he's right. Okay, look at this, another truth bomb. I don't even want to go through it. Just look at it. Put the video on pause. We don't have to go through it. I just want you to see it. You know, these are what our priorities are. You know, dinner date, going out on a date, out on the date, drinking, iPhone, Gucci belt, 6 hours of watching Netflix. It's all, I've seen this firsthand, okay? People don't even think about their health. They just want to keep repeating how they feel. And, you know, I'm sick. I don't feel good. And I call that affirming. I call that affirming sickness, or affirming health. And there's a big difference. And I remember people in my life, people that said all the time, "I'm sick. I don't feel good." They have the drapes drawn at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They're in their nightgown. I'm sick. I must have caught something. These people are catching diseases I've never even heard of before. So it's in your way of thinking. It's in your thinking pattern. It's what your body is hearing you say. It's that simple. And I got to tell you a story real quick about the 6-year-old. It's a beautiful story about a little girl who ends up underneath the blanket, where she's, trying to hide from everybody. And that's the end of the story. She's underneath the blanket talking to herself. This little 6-year-old girl has a problem because she has a cut in her eye that turned into a bulge. And it turned out to be a benignant bulge right in her eye. And it got bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where it would just probably make her blind. And the doctor said, "We can't do anything. It's too close to the eye and it's too dangerous." And the parents wouldn't believe that. So they went to different doctors, and different doctors told them the same thing. Finally, they went to a spiritual advisor, and he said, "Can I talk to you guys privately where, the little girl isn't listening?" And they went into this room, and they didn't know that the little girl was there listening too. I don't know how that happened, but it's a good story. The doctor tells the parents, tell the little girl, tell your daughter to talk to this growth. Tell her to tell the growth that it's not wanted anymore, that it shouldn't be here, that it's not wanted, that it has to go away, and that's end of story. So for the next 7 months, what happened was the girl would disappear, and the parents didn't know where she was, and there was always a light coming from the bottom of the door in her bedroom. Finally, on the 7th night, the dad kind of opens the door and creeps in, and he sees her underneath the blanket talking to herself with a flashlight pointed to herself, and she's talking to this boo-boo, she calls it, and she says, "You're not welcome here. You have to go. You're not welcome anymore. You have to leave. This is unpleasant. This is going to hurt me. You're hurting me." And anything she could think of to be positive, to tell herself and to tell this boo-boo to go away. Within 2 weeks, it was gone. You know how they say when the student's ready, the teacher will appear, and other beautiful Zen proverbs? Well, this is kind of what happened to me. Every single time, even if it's through Facebook, especially through Facebook recently, in the last few years, but something will appear. You know, you're thinking of something or you're wanting to do something and whoop, it appears in front of you somehow. I know government's doing that because they're watching us and they're listening to us, and they want us to know that they know where we went last on Facebook or on Google, and they come up with little ads. That's not really what I mean, but you're always led to something that you're looking for. So it's something that I've been watching in my growth, and since I'm at level 3 Reiki. And that's something else. Talk about priority. Talk about motivation. Okay, I signed up for the Reiki class, and I go there, and we're supposed to meet everybody that's in the class, and everybody's talking to everybody, and there are different tables, and it's really nice. And there's some sage going around, and you know, it's pretty impressive stuff. But these people are talking a whole different ballgame than I am. Let's see, you know, what kind of table did you get? How many clients do you have? What oils are you using? You know, what perfumes, what candles, blah, blah, blah. They came up to me. No, I don't have clients. No, I don't have a table. I don't even have anything like that. What I'm doing Reiki for is for me. I have to heal myself, because if I'm not healed, it's very dangerous. You don't play around with stuff like that with healing. If you're hiding something and you're sick spiritually or physically or whatever, and you start trying to say that you're healing people, it's a very dangerous, like Dr. Roland Christian would say, it's a very slippery slope. So because I know my motivation personally, because I know where my heart and where my head is at. And that was the longest journey I ever had to take. Like the natives say, the longest journey that any man is ever going to have to take is the 18 inches between his head and his heart. My heart's off camera, so I don't want to point to my throat, but you know what I mean. So it's all about, it was all about meditation for me, and learning about myself from the inside out, throwing away the stuff that's unpleasant, that you don't like about yourself. Just like a handkerchief, you blow your nose and then you throw it away forever. And you heal from the inside out, and you realize that you're not such a bad guy after all when you look at yourself in the mirror. Thank you. You're very important as an individual. This is all part of healing. Yes, this is all part of my video series of healing with cannabis, because it's one of the most important factors that help me in my healing. It's not about big pharma. It's not about anything out of my reach. It's about everything that's involved with healing inside me that I have access to every day, if I choose to. It's that stupid. If you choose to. This is kind of cool. I'm not sure if anybody remembers William Bill Cooper, author of the book called Behold a Pale Horse. This is all relevant. It's absolutely amazing. This here is a quote that I really want to share with you, because it's kind of like, you know, most people have a disclaimer before the beginning of any show or before what they're going to say, or this is kind of my disclaimer here. Check this out. I do not advise you what you should believe or not believe, but I do advise you that we all need to learn as much as we can about everything we can, because one thing I have learned in my life is that most of what we have ever been taught has been a lie. Ain't that the truth? It's about learning to unlearn. Literally, you have to sit there and you have to be able to get out of the box, be able to take everything you know, put it in a little container or something like this, or you know, some kind of container that you like, and put it aside. That way, you empty your cup. You know, like the natives say in the movie Avatar, which is another priceless movie to go see for native teachings and teachings that we're going to be going back to. It's all about emptying your cup so you can assimilate, because you can't do anything with a full cup. If you're full of yourself, that's the way it goes. So this is all about the painful and dark metamorphosis, the caterpillar turning into the butterfly for the first time. It's horrible. They had to be submitted to black, to something they've never felt before, ripping their insides apart. We have no idea what the pain is. It's sacrifice. It's it's only for certain people who want to go there. And another glimpse into my life is this other little thing I'd like to share with you. It's about learning how to think in a different language. It's learning how to speak in a different language. Learning to unlearn, in my case, is about getting back to nature. It's about listening to how the elders and the Native Americans talk. They lived in cooperation and in, I hate to use the word communion, but most people understand it better, with Mother Earth for tens of thousands of years, because they thanked Mother Earth for everything that they received. They treated Mother Earth just like one of their own, which is what we should be doing in the first place. We should be thanking her. We need to have the courage to think out of the box and to act out of the box. My bumper sticker, hello, I saw that and I just jumped at it. It was $1.75 and I had to have it. I'm already against the next war. This is how we have to be. We have to learn about ourselves after we've unlearned everything, and we're in the process of learning who we are and discovering who we are. And we have to kind of embrace what we're good at, what we do best, and shine. And once we start to do that, which is where I'm at right now, because I'm nowhere near the wisdom that I need, but it's about telling people what's going on. It's about sharing what we know. It's about advancing together towards a common agenda. Brothers and sisters, all my relations. I'm Set Nogama. Just like I'm showing with that image of the eye, that terrified eye looking out. I call that the eye of the empath, because that's what it reminds me of. It's me looking out into the world and being absolutely terrified, horrified about what I see. How can humans treat other humans this way? How can we be this way towards one another? How could an entity want to poison another entity? How could an entity think it's higher up the ladder, or better than another entity? Anyway, this is like, welcome to my world. These are the things that we're going to be talking about in this series. And yes, I'd like to give you a glimpse of what this show is going to be about. And I have my notes here, so don't mind me if I look away. But it's very important, because these are things that I want to talk about. Talk about history, learn to unlearn. What does that mean for me? Being lied to all our lives, conditioning, TV, radio, movies, marijuana prohibition, Rockefeller petrochemicals, prohibition, FDA raids for B17 and Laetrile and apricot seeds, big pharma, chemo, radiation, and my story, which is coming up. When we talk about feelings, this is something else that we're going to attack. Anger, the knowledge of the agenda. Sadness, because there's so many other people that have so much worse than I do. We're feeling helpless because we're not in charge. Taking every day, one day at a time, 1 minute at a time in my case. Gratitude for each day. I'm going to introduce you to Tecumseh, the Shawnee, and his message. And the most important thing of all, what can I do? Letting people in on me and my secrets. And you know what? The people that aren't getting it, maybe they're not supposed to. You ever thought of that? You're talking to somebody and they're looking at you like you're talking another language. Like, what the hell are you doing? What are you talking about? Maybe those people are just not supposed to get it. I think that's how spirit protects itself, by the way, so that things that really mean a lot to somebody else, they don't get clobbered or prostituted or abused in any other way. So that's a whole other episode. But these are the types of things we're going to cover. And I thank you for listening from the bottom of my heart, and we're going to keep rocking, and it's all going to make sense. We're going to be flying around. No, this is not going to be like, your typical script from A to B and back. This is going to be all over the place. So it's going to be fun. We can take notes together. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week.